Welcome to another CK podcast here from my home studio in Sacramento, California. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to drop a review on iTunes and to drop a review, a like, and share with all your fellow NBA fans here on YouTube. As you guys already know, the past 48 hours have been really tough for a lot of people. Kobe Bryant passed away tragically in a helicopter with his daughter, Gianna Bryant, and fellow baseball coach and other people involved, who I don't have the names in front of me, but it was a total of 9 people. It was very tragic. I was lost for words when it first happened. I didn't know how to react. And later on throughout the day, cried a lot. And I fell asleep. And I never fell asleep because I didn't really know how to cope with that. Kobe, to me, growing up, he was a hatred rival. I hated that guy because I am a Kings fan. And he was the Kings killer. He beat the Kings along with Shaq and the entire squad in 2002, which was the closest thing the Kings ever got to an NBA championship. But as I grew up and I would watch him live at Arco Arena, you started to appreciate his greatness, his work ethic, that Mamba mentality he would show in night in and night out. You would have to appreciate that, because if you didn't, you were just foolish. And I remember watching him live at 32, 33, and 34, and I was like, how the hell is he dominating at this age? How the hell is LeBron James dominating at this age right now? That's why these guys are all-time greats. They're few in between. That type of work ethic, the investment you make into knowing what you put into your body, putting in the work, the passion, all that adds up. It's no coincidence these guys are great, all-time greats. You have to be very special. You have to have a very unique, special bond with your sport, with your craft. That can be business, that can be being a teacher, a firefighter, a doctor. If you put the passion, the love, the work ethic into that specific career, you will be great. You will leave a legacy. Like a Kobe, like a LeBron, like an MJ, just to name a few names. Kobe resonated with me in that way. I pride myself on having a strong work ethic. That quote that he gave, I believe in his video where he won an Oscar. You asked for my hustle, I gave you my heart. That quote to me resonates very strongly in a lot of ways. It triggers a lot of things, like my mom, because I believe that my mom has been the most selfless human being I know. Period. My mother has given her life for me and my 2 older brothers, for my father. There are a lot of moms that are selfish. There are a lot of moms that are about themselves. And my mom is not one of those moms. My mom has dedicated her life to us. And when I heard that quote, it's like, okay, this human being dedicated so much to this sport of basketball, and he was phenomenal at it. There are plenty of quotes where his wife Vanessa's like, well, if you're going to put this much work in it, you better win some NBA championships to make it all worth it. That's the level of commitment that Kobe Bryant had with the game of basketball. And when he passed away, it was just, I was in shock and disbelief, thinking it was a nightmare. It's tough. It's tough. As you guys know, I've been on record plenty since May, I think, of last year, saying that if I ever have a boy, I was going to name him Kobe Bias, because that's how much I respect this man from a basketball standpoint, from an entrepreneur standpoint, from a father standpoint, family man, man of God. Kobe Bryant was at Mass that morning that he passed away. He was at Mass with his daughter, Gianna. And I know a lot of you guys may not be believers of God, or maybe atheists, or may just not believe in God. And that's completely fine. But the purpose of this is to spread love and positivity. There is a lot of negativity on earth right now. You guys know that. Let's not kid ourselves. There is a lot of negativity out there. And I really want you guys to let go of that negative stuff and love each other, love your neighbor, love your family. That person you may have some gripe against, let that shit go. It's not worth it. You're not promised tomorrow. That's simple. You're not promised tomorrow. As cliched as that may sound, you're not promised tomorrow. I put God first in my life. You may not. I'm not going to pound that on you, but I am going to plant that seed inside of you. It's going to be in your head, because there is a God that loves us, that gives us hope, and he works in mysterious ways. Only he knows why Kobe died at 41. Only he knows why Gigi died at 13. And the rest of the people who passed away. God bless their souls as well. It's been a tough 48 hours. It's been tough. When a global icon like a Kobe Bryant passes away, it's going to shake the ground on earth. But sometimes life is that way. And if a guy of that magnitude can pass away, so can you, so can I. So again, if you have any type of fight, hatred, whatever the case is, man, it's not worth it. If you have negative feelings towards someone, fix it. Hug them. Tell them I love you. Do it. Do it. Last night, the Kings, a day after Kobe's death, played the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had a nice gesture. Both teams, the T-Wolves started it off with an 8-second violation in memory of his number 8. And then the Kings with the full-on 24-second shot clock violation to honor his number 24. And it was a tough first 3 quarters for the Kings. Just tough. Talk about frustration. Talk about me tweeting out, hey, man, y'all have no respect for a man like Kobe Bryant, who paved the way for you guys. Have some respect. Show some respect by playing hard, by having a Mamba mentality. Mamba mentality doesn't mean just basketball. Mamba mentality can be applied to anything in life. They were not showing that. But he was playing hard. I'll give him that. And he never stopped playing hard. He put R.I.P. Kobe, be like Kobe, a lot of significant things to Buddy Hield on his shoe. I know Buddy personally, and I know how much Kobe meant to him in his life. how he inspired him, a kid from the Bahamas, to reach new heights, to do something bigger than himself, to represent an entire nation, a kid from the Bahamas. Think about that. A nation that's smaller than Sacramento, California. The odds of him making it out to even a Division I school was incredible. Then being player of the year and then getting drafted number 6 and then getting an $86 million contract. And then last night, scoring 42 points, career high on 24 shots, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, which equals 8, signifying Kobe. You can't make this up. Incredible. His level of commitment. I know one thing, I've always told you this. Don't ever question his hustle and his work ethic, because Buddy Hield has that. Buddy Hield is a gym rat. I can't say that about every single person on this team. I can't say that about a lot of individual basketball players in the NBA. A lot of them do just enough, just like a lot of us do at our jobs, whatever that may be. There's nothing to be ashamed about. I don't want you to say, well, Leo was talking, he was talking shit. Like, no. There is a level of conformity, and then there is a level of greatness. Do you want to leave a legacy? Some people don't. Some people prioritize differently. Some people are happy with just making it. And a lot of these NBA players are happy that they made it to the NBA. So they decide to be average. Just like a lot of people on earth. And that's okay too, because everyone has their own journey in life. Whatever your journey is, be the best version of yourself. Surround yourself with the best possible people to make you better. If you have negative Nancy's around you, you're probably going to be a negative Nancy yourself. If you have a strong, positive support system, you're probably going to be very positive yourself. Just the way it is. Have your inner circle. Surround yourself with people who love you, who genuinely care for you. A lot of basketball players don't really see that, or if they do, they have no choice. They feel like because they owe, this friend, and their baby mama, and then their super fifth, sixth year cousin, and it's crazy how this industry works, and the level of just, what's the word I'm looking for? Craziness. There's another word that I'm looking for, but you guys know all these stories where a lot of these guys go broke. They don't know how to manage their wealth. It's insane. It's insane. The NBA needs to do a better job to have an infrastructure in place to educate these young men when they come into the league to know what to do with their money. So if you make $5 million, don't go out and spend $5 million. Because you got to think about 2 or 3 is going to go in taxes. And then whatever necessity you have, you put that aside. And then you give yourself a salary, per se. That's the mindset you must have. It's the mindset you must have. Just because Cowbell makes X amount of money doesn't mean I'm going to take home and pay myself all that money. You got to leave money to the business, to the hedge fund. That's how a business works. On this podcast, not so much on the live episodes, but certainly on the Friday episodes where I have a guest in studio at our Sacramento studio. We talk a lot about business, culture, community. And the number one thing about business is you must have the commitment to be great and to essentially be a slave to it, because if you're not, someone's going to beat you just like anywhere else. It's a business. You're always competing. You must work harder than the person next to you. And sometimes not even harder, just smarter. But definitely having a strong work ethic and being smart about whatever the business generates. And if you apply that to a basketball player's wealth, a lot of these players mismanage their money because they think they have whatever they make, which is not the case. It's unfortunate. Tommy Drippin says, I'm a Laker hater for life, but I love and respect the legend. Rest in peace. Buddy has that Mamba work ethic, without question. I mean, Buddy, spending a week with him in the Bahamas, seeing firsthand the level of commitment that he has for basketball, I can testify to it and say, man, this dude's a gym rat. Can't say it about everybody else, though. Can't say it about everybody else. Another thing, the guy is fearless. He can miss a shot, airball a shot, miss another shot, and he will continue and take that shot because he believes in his craft. Nobody else on this team can say that. Because as soon as a guy airballs or a guy misses and bricks it, their confidence gets down. We've seen it from every single member on this team except for Buddy Hield. That guy will keep shooting it because he believes in the work that he puts in to take the next shot. The next shot's the best shot. That's the mindset you should have as a basketball player. Unfortunately, not all of these guys have that mindset. I want to go over some numbers. So 42 points on 64.3% from beyond the arc last night. That's insane. That's efficiency at an insane rate. Is that sustainable? No, absolutely not. But it's nice to point out. 5 rebounds. Previous game, 21 points on 55.6% from beyond the arc. Is that sustainable? No, it's not. Not even for a guy like Steph Curry. He's never shot 55% from beyond the arc. That's insane. But it's nice to point out. Now, if you want to talk about rebounding, which rebounding is a little, some people can correlate it with some defense. Buddy, 5 boards, 8 boards, 4 boards, 7 boards in his last 4 games. In his last 4 games, he's averaged 24 points a game. 24.2 to be exact. Okay. This season, he's averaging 20.5 points. And I hear a lot of chirping out there. He's having an awful year. That Buddy's having an awful, atrocious year. Okay. 20.5 points per game. The big discrepancy is, I get it. He shot 42.7% from beyond the arc last year. And he's shooting 37.3, which again is not bad. 42.7 is just great. It's phenomenal. So you hold him to this standard because he got paid $86 million. Not in reality, not taking into context that he's taking 2 more threes a game. Okay? 2 more threes a game. Not having a starting point guard for a good 25 games. Now that is something you should be talking about. I get it. He shot 88.6 from the free throw line last year. He's only shooting 83% this year. So that dropped. But his rebounding, his points, he averaged 20.7 last year. So the same, essentially, 20.5. The only discrepancy is the 5 percentage points, which comes down to shooting 2 more shots this season, which comes down to having a new system, not playing a run and gun offense anymore, and still 37.3% on 10 attempts a game is actually pretty damn good. I just wanted to point that out because I hear a lot of these chirping them, man, these little chirping birds on Twitter. A lot of these Instagram little birds always talking. That's crazy to me. Yeah, they're not winning, but they've been derailed with injuries all season long. It's crazy. It's crazy. Milo Santiago. Vlada says Belly had solid game, just missed triple-double, 20 points, 9 and 8. Belly's had a very solid season all the way around. Bielitsa's a beast. And I'm going to say this right now. The Kings need Richaun Holmes to come back. With Richaun Holmes back in the lineup, with what they have going on right now, with the healthy Buddy, with the healthy Bogey, the healthy De'Aaron Fox, they'll be fine. I wouldn't be mad if Bagley missed the entire season in order for him to get healthy. But the Kings cannot afford to miss Holmes for much longer because Holmes is an elite defender, a very good rebounder, and they badly need that right now. They need that tomorrow night. They need that Thursday night, and they need that Saturday night. They are very shorthanded when it comes to having an elite guy who can switch on screens, where as a coach you feel comfortable with him guarding a guard, which is insane. He's done it plenty of times in the clutch where it matters, numerous times. The ones that come to mind, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, 2 elite guards, no problem. Richaun Holmes, man, the guy's a beast. I hope he can come back, even if he comes back 80% of what he was doing. Still better than anything else any other big in his type of role could offer. So the Kings are roughly about 5 games out of the 8 seed. What will they do? Will this game propel them to finally leaving their stamp on this season? If I had to guess, and if this team can get Richaun Holmes back, I would say yes. But if he continues to miss games, I'm going to say no. It's contingent on his health. It's contingent on De'Aaron Fox's health. De'Aaron Fox is the best player on this team. De'Aaron Fox will take the Kings wherever he takes them. Like, the Kings will go as far as De'Aaron Fox takes them, is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I just mix up my words, and I just got to stop doing that. But this team will go as far as De'Aaron Fox takes them. So last night, very nice of him to miss that free throw. And then the 2-minute report came out and said he crossed the line. If that was the case, every shot would be a lane violation because everybody does it. Everybody does it. So I'm not worried about that. The Kings have gotten screwed big time on numerous calls in that last minute in that 2-minute report. So I'm not concerned about that. Kings have lost 8 games by 3 points or less, which leads the NBA. And that's not even considering the games where they were down by 3 and then free throws got them down to 4 or 5. So the Heat game didn't count because they fouled with 0.4 of a second left. So there have been at least 12 games that I can count that the Kings were just down by 3 points, and then a free throw can swing that point percentage. But the Kings have been in so many close games this year, and they just haven't been able to close these games. Last night, they got a very, very critical game, a very close game in the fourth. They were getting blown out the entire game, and then the T-Wolves just gave that up. T-Wolves gave that up. I'll be honest. Like, there's no excuse for you to be up 27 and give up that game. Being up, 15-16 with like 3-4 minutes left and some ridiculous number like that. It's insane. Well, what we saw yesterday, the percentage of that happening ever again is so small. It's really unheard of. And again, I applauded Buddy Hield for not giving up, for giving this team a chance to breathe. He gave them a chance to breathe, and my gosh, They won. Man, it kind of reminds me of that. It was a 35-point comeback with Tyreek Evans against the Chicago Bulls back in his rookie year. Was it his sophomore or his rookie year? I don't remember. It was that game that was the closest thing to it, but this was just wild. Like, they were down in the fourth. That was just wild. And then Saunders takes out his starters like 2-3 minutes left, and he had to put him back in. But he kept shooting three or making threes. That was just wild to watch. The announcers on the other team were like, "Oh, it's nice for the T-Wolves to finally break this losing streak." Blah 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 blah. Boom. Next thing you know, boom. Next thing you know, boom. Oh my gosh, they're down by 3. They missed a shot. D Fox in transition would have outletted it to outlet it or passed it to Buddy Hield for the open shot, and he would have made it. But they decided to foul, which is the right thing to do. I'm playing my percentages for sure. I'll take that all day long. Like, yeah, I'm gonna foul De'Aaron Fox, who's an awful free throw shooter for a guard. Hell yeah, I'm gonna do that without question. Without question, that was the right thing to do for the T-Wolves, and it backfired. But it would have backfired if he would have just gave it to Buddy on the wing, because Buddy was running hard on on his left. Shabazz was right behind, but I mean, Buddy would have got that shot up, and the way things were going, he most likely would have made that shot as well. So just crazy to me, man. Just crazy to me. What about the Clippers comeback? The Clippers comeback. Which comeback was? I actually do remember that comeback. It's coming back to me right now. I don't think it was as dope as the Bulls one, especially not this one last night. This one last night again was just memorable. Will stand in the hearts of Kings fans forever because of what it signified. Do you think the Kings should move on from Bagley and stick with Holmes at center? I think the Kings should get whatever value they can for Marvin Bagley. Like, if I were them, I would shop him, but I also understand that a lot of teams won't give up much because his value is at an all-time low. So you won't be able to get the same type of value you would like. And then if you do that as from an organization standpoint, you're giving up on your number 2 pick. You're folding, right? And you're saying you were wrong about not drafting Luka, which you can say that now. The whole world knows it, which is unfortunate, but I don't think there's a deal out there for them to make for Marvin Bagley, only because he hasn't played enough to where teams are like, well, I'm going to give up X piece, Y piece, Z piece for him because we don't trust him. We don't know what he really is. We haven't seen him enough, and the Kings don't even know what he is. So it's a tough question because, or it's a tough decision because you don't really know what you have. You may have something really, really good, or you may have something really, really bad. It can go either way with Marvin Bagley. I would not be shocked if he's just terrible. I wouldn't. And by that I mean continuing to being injured. That's a high possibility. Very, very high. It's also a high possibility for him to be great. It's a high possibility for him to be an all-star. He has the talent to be an all-star, without question. Will he ever be a Luka Doncic? No. But he's definitely talented enough to make an impact on this team. So it's tough. It's tough because we haven't seen him enough to make that type of judgment. or with Bogey struggles, move him back into the lineup. But he's better off the bench. You think that Buddy will continue to come off the bench if he sustains this production? I think Buddy will be inserted into that starting lineup very, very soon, to be honest with you. I don't think it has anything to do with him coming off the bench or not. It was more of a realization moment for him, like, okay, I have to get my shit together and I have to play at a higher level offensively. Again, I've said this in the past, and I'm say it again. He's not a gifted defender. He's not a good defender. He's not built to be a good defender. So when people say, well, he's not putting effort into it, he's putting effort into it. He's just not that good on defense. So, and then there's times where he plays super, super hard, but he exerts so much energy on defense that it hurts his offense. So if you ask me, like if I'm the coach, I'll be like, well, play hard, play within the structure of our defense, which I don't know what it is yet. I don't even know what they run, to be honest with you, because they don't run anything. Like, this team is so inconsistent with their offensive sets. But I would be inclined to be like, just run your lanes hard. In transition, run super, super hard. And he has been doing that the past 2 games. Because that's going to open up so much more for him and his teammates. So you can't expect a player to exert their best on both ends 24/7. Like, that's not possible. No great player does that. None of them do. So when people have these false expectations for a guy, I laugh, and it's like, do you even know what it requires to be and to exert that much energy on both sides of the floor? Like, it's difficult. So at some point, you just have to realize and say, yeah, I'd rather him be strong on offense because it's going to open up so much more for a team. Like, if Buddy's rolling, it just opens up for everyone else. Kent Bazemore has been a nice surprise. It's been a short or small sample size, but much better than Ariza, which is not saying much because Ariza set the bar pretty damn low. Like, he set the bar pretty damn low. So Kent Bazemore has been a nice addition. Just as long as he doesn't dribble and shoot, he does everything else pretty well. Bagley gets hurt rolling out of bed. I missed Bagley's second jumps. Still confused as to why Luke has yet to emphasize pushing the pace into our offense. So I'll say this, and I've said this plenty of times already. I was talking to one of the coaches. I can't really say who, but he said, if you sit behind our bench, you will hear us continuously yell at them and say, push, 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 push. So it's really on the players, which I was shocked to hear. But if that's the case, if these guys don't want to run, right? If that's his side of the story, that they are pushing and that Luke does want to run, then I would put a team out there who wants to run. Like, if D Fox doesn't want to push the pace, and if Buddy doesn't want to run, and Bogey doesn't want to run, then sit their asses down and put the bench in. And then in practice, make them run like crazy. There's no structure. I just feel like, and a coach will never admit this, but if they're not listening to you, do it to where they listen to you. Be tough on these guys. They're getting paid millions of dollars. They will respect you if you are hard on them. They want to be coached. They don't want to be babied. They want to be coached. A competitor wants to be coached. A competitor wants to win games. Do whatever it takes to get them over the top, to get them over the hump in order to win games. That's simple. What trades would you make? So, as I mentioned on previous shows, I really like Matthias Thybulle from the Philadelphia 76ers. I think it'd make perfect sense for them to give him up for a bogey. As Zaire Smith and a Thybulle for Bogdan. Why does it make sense? Because now you have a legit playmaking score like a bogey, and you're pretty much already in with all these guys that you have on your books with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Al Horford, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson. You add bogey to that mix, and that instantly makes you a contender. They're already a contender, but what's going to put them over the top today, right now, this season? Bogey will. So if I was them and if I'm the Kings and you need some defensive help on the wing and a guy who can be great defensively, like Thybulle can be great defensively. He's so active on defense. And if that jump shot becomes consistent, watch out. Or you go out and you'll get a Robert Covington, which I don't know how that would work in terms of salaries because I haven't really put that in the trade machine. But is there a possibility where you get a Robert Covington, who we just saw last night, who shot lights out? Now he hasn't shot that well all season, and it seems like a lot of dudes play well against the Kings. But one thing we can't question is his greatness on defense. Very good defender. But I would prefer a Thybulle because he's so much younger and he has so much more upside. And he's on a much, much friendlier contract. So I would pull that trade. If you're the Pelicans, do you call and say, man, I want Jrue Holiday? Is that something that they would entertain? I don't know if they would. Would I have to add a few seconds to it? I don't know if that would be enough. Something to think about. In terms of bigs, I've heard Miles Turner been thrown out there. I wouldn't mind a Miles Turner, but I love Richaun Holmes. The only thing is, will Richaun Holmes stay healthy? That's what you have to ask yourself. And that's really with any basketball player. You don't expect injuries until they happen. So committing to a Miles Turner is committing to him long term because he's on a long term contract. I like Miles. I actually love Miles. Defensive tenacity. He's a very good defender. I would prefer obviously Sabonis, but the Pacers would give up Miles before they give us Sabonis. So that's why his name has been thrown out there. And then someone said, what about Josh Richardson from the Sixers? I honestly believe that they would want to keep him because of his experience. And I just feel like his playmaking ability as well will really help the 76ers. So if he had a bogey to that, if he had a bogey to that team, I'm telling you, man, that guy is the missing piece to the Sixers. He's the missing piece to the Lakers. Bogey is the missing piece to a lot of these contenders. So I would elect to go Thybulle over Kuzma, believe it or not. But I wouldn't be mad. I mean, again, it just depends on how the Kings view themselves and where are they currently. So you ask yourself that question, hey man, am I a playoff team or am I not a playoff team? If you're not a playoff team, move on. Or if you're not a playoff team, you sign Bogey and you wait an entire season and then you trade him. And you still have your assets. Or you trade him in the summer as a sign and trade. You hold Bogey's career. Like, he can't leave because you can match anything. And you're probably going to match anything. Because if you don't, you're just silly. Because then you just lose him for nothing. So you definitely are in control of his contract, of his career, essentially. So ask yourself that. And once you ask yourself that, once you evaluate where you're at as an organization, as a team, then you make a decision based upon that. Someone says, love your sweater, man. I would love for you guys to check out the new merch that we just released today. Love it. Love it. You can get this one, which is the classic, right? The Don't Sleep on Sacramento premium cotton, super soft, super silky. I love it. The new ones, the Cowbell Kingdom with the bridge inside, the letters is pretty dope. And then you got the line that says "Stay loyal, stay proud, Sacramento forever." Available now on Teespring/shop/Cowbell Kingdom. Check them out. Support the channel, support the platform. Love you guys. And this episode is presented by Clam Society Folsom. So say you have a lot of pain, some inflammation on your back, some inflammation on your ankle, some inflammation on your neck, and you want to feel better instantly. Then you go into a cryotherapy chamber. And our sponsor, Climb Society Folsom, has a whole body cryotherapy chamber in their fitness studio. You check them out. You go into a session. It's only $40. You go in there for 3 minutes. It's really cold, but you're going to feel so much better. Or if you want to take a class, which you can do 6 different variations on that amazing tower, the Synergy Tower, then you do that. And you're going to feel the burn. My wife right now is out of class, a 6 p.m. class. So, and she hates to work out, but she loves the community aspect of this business, of this specific boutique fitness studio in Folsom, California. You guys will love it. Make sure you guys tell them that Cowbell Kingdom sent you guys, and they'll take care of you. Shout out to them. Shout out to Valley Tire Center. If you're looking for Kings tickets, guess what? They're giving them out tomorrow. Well, we're giving them out through Valley Tire Center and Water and Salt. Shout out to Water and Salt for giving us 3 tickets tomorrow. So check that out. Enter the giveaway. Follow directions and download the Valley Tire Center mobile app and turn on your notifications for a bunch of amazing deals that Brett will be giving you guys very, very soon. Very, very soon. All right, yo. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I'm going to end it here. Hopefully you guys can tune into the other shows that we've made. You guys can tune in to our Friday shows. We have Billy No, who owns Crew in Sacramento and a bunch of other places that you guys probably know of. Poke Spot. He has a really healthy food for dogs in Sacramento. You guys won't want to miss it. He gets down and dirty with the truth about entrepreneurship. Definitely a must listen this Friday. Again. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to drop a review, like this video, and we'll see you guys on the next one.